This is the Biology series, Part 1, a very brief summary of our prefrontal cortex, by Medical Science for Kids. What is our agenda? July 15th, we'll be doing a very basic neurology series, Part 1, which is right now. July 17th, we'll be doing a fun experiment with a person, we'll be doing a hot air balloon filled with hot water inside a balloon. What will happen? Will it fire up? Who knows? July 18th, July 19th, July 20th is not planned yet. This is the vocabulary of this lesson. The cognitive behavior, the way a person is feeling or thinking. Motor areas. The areas in the prefrontal cortex where it controls the motion or people of the movement. It controls, basically, the motor areas is a very important thing in the prefrontal lobe because it controls the motion of the body and basically the muscles. What is the prefrontal cortex, you may ask? The main functions of the prefrontal cortex are called complex cognitive behavior. Prefrontal cortex controls the decision-making, the expression of your feelings, and overall the personality. It is a very important function. But medical science for kids, what does the cognitive behavior mean? It is a way the most simplified term is a pattern of how a person feels and thinks. Like maybe you'll feel today you're angry, and it's caused by a prefrontal cortex. And what it thinks, it is very important, these functions. How do these main functions work? The cognitive behavior can help differentiate conflicting thoughts, which means that good, bad, sad, and happy. These are all different conflicting thoughts. Like bad is a conflicting thought in your brain that controls it in the prefrontal lobe, and it sends down the impulses if, according to the motor areas, which I'll explain in the later slides, it can actually, you move your muscles because your impulses, they go to the muscles because there are nerves attached to the muscles and they go down to the nervous system and you can move basically. So motor areas are in the prefrontal lobe. So to get on the slides, the prefrontal cortex can determine the result or the predictions of the consequences of the actions. That means it could determine the result of the predictions and the consequences of the action. Of the good, you know the consequences, right? And of the actions. It can also have a task management and also achieving your goals. That's the main functions. What are the other basic motor areas? Motor areas are basically what plans the motion or movement of a person in the prefrontal cortex. It basically plans the motion and the movement, which I said in the previous slide. It's basically a simple analogy. What is the premotor cortex, you may ask medical science for kids? The premotor cortex receives highly processed information, which can also include basic knowledge and understanding basic skills according to our daily lives. The frontal eye field. What is the frontal eye field? Is it just the eye movements? But it can control voluntary eye movements, which means that it can control the conscious freedom of your own movements. What does that mean, medical science for kids? The conscious freedom of your own movements is basically when you're conscious, you can control your muscles, right? These are voluntary movements. And this happens for the same for the frontal eye field. So, goodbye everyone. I hope you understand my video and have a good day. Bye bye.